Alrighty guys, topic 2 for linear functions is parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're talking about slope some more, but we're going to talk about it in reference to parallel and perpendicular lines. So starting with parallel, parallel lines are obviously lines that run straight beside each other like train tracks. You've talked about them before in math. When two lines have the exact same slope, congruent triangles can be drawn to show the rise and the run. Okay, so we have the same triangles. So if we look here, we have 7 up and 7 up from a place that's just on the same axis. And then 5 as our run, 5 as our run. So the slope of AB, okay, so AB, that means the line with those 2 points on it. A is the point here, B is the point there. The slope of that line and the line CD is both 7 as the rise and 5 as the run. So 7 up and 5 across. So they have exactly the same slope when the lines are parallel. I don't know how many times I want to say that. 20 at least. Lines that have the same slope, this is some slope, same slope, are parallel, exactly the same. Okay? So it's just the same line in a different spot along the grid. So since the slope of AB is equal to the slope of CD, line AB is parallel to CD. Okay, so clearly that can't be the same for perpendicular lines. It's not the same slope here. So let's take a look at what's happening with these. So perpendicular lines aren't parallel, so they have different slopes. So if I look at the slope for AB this time, and I use my rise and run method, the triangle method, the amount it's going up is 4. The amount it's going across is 3. So the slope of AB is up 4, across 3. You could have done the whole thing from B to A. You would have gone up 8 and across 6. So you would have had 8 over 6, which would reduce down to 4 over 3 as well. Okay, so you just need to make sure when you're doing the triangle method that you're picking a point on the line where it intersects. Don't pick here where it's kind of in the middle. It's not right at the corner of the grid. Okay, it's got to be right where the grid lines are intersecting. So our slope of our other line, CD, goes across here. So if I use my triangle method for CD, I can see that it goes up 3. So the rise is 3. And if we use this run, it's -4. It's going back -4. You could also go here along this line and see that if we go this way, it's -3 going down and across 4. So the slope of that line, the rise over run, is -3 over 4. Okay, so we can see that it's a negative line because it's going down to the right, okay, starting higher and going down, so we know it's got to have a negative slope. This line is positive because it's going up from left to right. So let's take a look at these slopes. AB is 4 over 3. CD is -3 over 4. You can see here they're perpendicular. Remember that perpendicular means that there is a right angle in the corner. Okay, so that's 90 degrees here. It's just like the corner of a rectangle. So the slope of a perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal. What negative reciprocal means is, if you remember from fractions, reciprocal means it's the opposite. So instead of 4 over 3, it's 3 over 4. And it's the negative reciprocal of that. Negative reciprocal would also be if a line has a slope of -1/2, the line that's perpendicular to that would have a slope of 2 over 1, or just 2, because 2 divided by 1 is 2. So m equals negative a half, m meaning slope. Then the line that's perpendicular would be 2 over 1. Okay, so if one's negative, the other has to be positive. And if you think about it, if you're going to have two lines that cross, one of them is going to have a negative slope, the other one's going to have a positive slope. Okay, so that's the gist of this. Let's take a look at how we're going to work with this in a question. So line GH passes through G coordinate -4, 2, and H, which has a coordinate of 2, -1. Okay, line JK gives us the coordinate. Are they parallel? So do they have the exact same slope? So first of all, we're going to calculate the slope for line GH. Well, we're going to call this 1 and this coordinate 2. Okay, so we have y2 take away y1 over x2, 2, take away x1, take away -4. Okay, so we got to be careful with our negatives. M equals -1 take away 2 is -3. 2 take away -4 is 2 plus 4, which is 6. So once we reduce that, we have a slope of -1/2. Let's take a look at line JK. So M here, we have J and K. So our Y value in K is 3. Take away the Y value for J is 7. So 3 take away 7 over 7 take away -1. So 3 take away 7 is -4. 7 take away -1 is like 7 adding 1, which is 8. Once we reduce that, and that's why you can see why it's so important that you reduce it, because if you compared these two, you might think that they're different. But once you reduce them down, you can see they're both -1/2. So line GH and line JK are parallel because they have the exact same slope. Pause the video, do your check your understanding question. Okay, I hope you got it right. Take a look, give it a shot. Then move on to this question. So same idea. It says, are these two lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So we can only know that by comparing the slopes of them. So we have line PQ. P and Q. See that? Yep. So M is equal to 10 take away 2 over -2 take away -7. So M equals 8 over -2 take away -7 plus 7 is 5. Line RS. M is equal to 1 take away -4, 1 take away -4 over 5 take away -3. M 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, are these lines perpendicular, parallel, or neither? Well, they would have to be exactly the same to be parallel, which they're not, so not parallel. And to be perpendicular, they have to be reciprocal, but they also have to be the negative reciprocal. So don't get so excited that they're the reciprocal. Make sure that you can see that it's not negative reciprocal. So we notice that they're neither. In B it says sketch the lines to verify. I'll get you to do that on your own. Okay, so do you check your understanding question? Pause, and then come along with me to example number 3. Determine the slope of a line that is perpendicular to the line through EF. Okay, so we first of all need to know what the slope is of this line. So M is equal to y2 take away y1, negative 1 take away 3, all over x2 take away x1, negative 4 take away 2. So we have negative 4, negative 1 take away 3 is negative 4, and negative 4 take away 2 is negative 6. So be careful there, since we have a negative over a negative, it's a positive. So it's really 4 over 6, and we can reduce that down by dividing them both by 2. So we have 2 over 3. So the answer to A, what is the slope of a line that's perpendicular to this line? The slope for that line would be negative, okay, because this is positive, so it has to be negative. And then the reciprocal, flip it over, negative 3 over 2. Okay, so those two lines, those two slopes are negative reciprocals. Finally, determine the coordinates of G so that line EG is perpendicular to line EF. Okay, so this is a little more involved, but I want you guys to give it a shot. So we were given the coordinates of line EF. So let's make sure we're going to the right place here. Okay, so line or point E is at 2. Okay, so this would be 2 and y is 3. So it's going to be up there. And that's point E. Point F is at negative 4, negative 1. Okay, so negative 4, that's along my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, my coordinate here. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. So it's down here. Okay. And then determine the coordinates of G so that line EG. Okay, so because E is in there, we know that E is the beginning of the point. Okay, so it's got to coordinate with EG. So the line that's perpendicular has a slope of negative 3 and 2. So if I use that, I can go, let's use a different color. To find G is going to be at negative 3, 1, 2, 3. That's my rise. It's negative 3. And my run is 2. 1, 2. So we know that these two slopes are perpendicular. We have created the line that's perpendicular, and the coordinate for that we're going to just have to grab from the graph. So here's my origin, 0, 0. My x value is 1, 2, 3, 4. And my y value is 0, because that's where I'm at. I'm right on the axis. So point G is at 4, 0. Okay, so give the questions a shot. Let me know if you have questions along the way, and hope you're all doing well. Bye.